The two most important days of my life was the day I was born and the day I discovered why. I've had the incredible good fortune to have never worked a day in my life. I just found a career that I have truly loved, and I am incredibly passionate about the path I'm on. I grew up by default in the business of fashion and have since spent over 2 decades in the industry. I've had the very unique disposition of having seen the industry from 360 degrees. Profit was my purpose. I was nimble-footed, and with my blinkers firmly in place, I galloped to bring the latest and the greatest trends, quickest and cheapest to market. My journey started at the back end, on the factory floor, doing merchandising, production, and design. But very quickly, I ramped that up to build multi-million-dollar businesses across India, Canada, Europe, and the United States. My journey was global. It spanned the entire spectrum of the market, from top-tier department stores down to discount retailers. It traversed across the entire market segment, men's, women's, children, through to junior, Missy, plus, contemporary. I loved every moment that I have spent in the business of fashion. Now, what's not to love about the business of fashion? It's a $2.4 trillion business. It touches everybody's life. It would be the 7th largest economy if it were alongside individual countries. Fashion is fascinating. It's exhilarating. It almost immediately paints the picture of beauty and perfection. But if fashion were to look itself in its eye and ask with absolute honesty, beauty at what cost? Perfection at whose cost? It would very quickly see that it is a flawed industry, that below its overt beauty does lie a hidden reality. The pretty little secret of fashion is that it is quite the dirty polluter, that follows archaic rules, that fails to honor human and ecological rights. To make a tough situation even more complicated, the once powerful retail industry constantly demanded the lowering of price points. I bore witness to the injustices that emerge when a market's solo focus is a race to the bottom of the price pit. This single-axis, one-dimensional focus forces choices that fundamentally damage the environment, that inevitably shortchanges the value chain, and invariably piles up more fast fashion in global landfills. I plead guilty. I was part of and party to the entire systemic industry malaise. The speed in which I was turning trends to tailored product, the price that I was doing it at, truly afforded me no time to care about the true costs. Like everybody else, I turned a blind eye, thinking that not seeing the problem made it go away. At other times, I looked at the problem and rationalized that this is too big for me to take on. Perhaps somebody else would do something about it. It was August 18th, 2014, the day that everything changed. A couple of weeks prior, I had read a blog post from Hope Foundation School. Nestled in a densely populated slum district, the school served a hot, nutritious meal to its students. Children from the neighboring slums came to the school for that meal. For most of the kids, that was the only hot meal of the day. They were then fascinated by the potential of an education, and that choice changed their lives. I marveled that such a small act of caring fundamentally changed the trajectory of a child's life. I almost immediately felt compelled to want to be responsible for that meal. And so, in an effort to make business better, I launched a program called Empower, where for every garment I sold in one of my businesses, that hot, nutritious meal was ours to fund. This started as a simple exploratory project. But in about 2 years, we had served 186,000 meals. I entered the school that morning, fired up to make a difference in the life of those kids. I left the school that evening, transformed. The kids had changed my life. For too long, I had looked but did not see. I had heard but had not listened. My whole life, I searched for someone to do something about the great divides and the unfair disparities of the world. That day, I realized that I was the somebody I searched for, well able and fully capable of doing something that mattered. I saw the dreams, and I heard the needs. I found my why, and I consequently found my way forward. For this long trip to India, I was reading 2 books. One was Seth Godin's Linchpin, and the other was Jim Collins' From Good to Great. Everything began to connect. I realized that Seth Godin's ideas on how to be the best for the world clicked with Jim Collins' ideas on how to be the best in the world. I connected the need that I had seen at the Hope Foundation School with the ability of business to rise up and meet that need. The author's powerful messages, the inspiring kids, the whisper of possibility, the potential for radical reform. It was the perfect recipe for rapid and profound transformation. Almost unknowingly, I planted the seeds of what was to become Art and Eden. Now, I was running 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. I have 2 amazing kids, and my awesome husband took on the role of Mr. Mom. My life was on cruise control. Nothing needed to have changed, yet change became an inevitable necessity. I spent months learning, searching, questioning, growing, and then decided to quit my executive positions in the 2 multi-million-dollar businesses I was running to charter a new way forward. I would think that would have been the most difficult professional decision I have made in my lifetime. I was my family's sole breadwinner. This meant putting everything at risk. Everybody told me I was crazy. Friends and family tried to dissuade me, but I knew it was a necessity. The fog had already begun to clear from my eyes. I did not want to partake in a world that valued profit over people. I could not turn a blind eye to the damaging effects that fast fashion had and its impact on the world. I wanted a world where profit for some did not have to come at the cost of another, where business could emerge as a one-win model. I knew I could not go back to Eden, but I questioned whether I could create it. And so I embarked on the journey and started to find answers to the various questions that came across through the search. Art in Eden was born from one question: how can the business of fashion be better and our choices more responsible? That one question led to a myriad of other questions. Can we bring conscience back to commerce? Can business be used as a force for good? What does it feel like to wear liberation? Does freedom come in small, medium, or large? Is it possible to subvert a worldwide industry that sustains itself on environmental wreckage, has been pulled up for labor abuse and consumer neglect, and embraces a one-size-fits-all work mentality? And if that is possible, is it possible that that very industry can clean up its act, self-reform, and spearhead change? And even if that is possible, then can a business that wants to have profit as a greater purpose can also generate greater profits? I did find my answers over the next 2 years. The burden of knowledge first consumed me and overwhelmed me, but it was the awareness that then propelled me to charter a new course forward, a world of collaboration and connection instead of competition, a world where carelessness gave way to caring, a world where profit for some did not have to come at the cost of another. I had painted a veritable masterpiece on the landscape of my imagination. I had to now go out and build it. Art in Eden is born from a dream to build a business that could be the best it could be for the world, while we strive to be the best in the world. We take it one product, one step, one community at a time. Our humble team of 10 is working tirelessly to change the industry from the inside out. We realize that changing the world starts with changing ourselves, and a better world can only start with a better me. We slowed down the fast fashion momentum to allow ourselves the time to build thoughtful, intentional processes so that our business could be better for the planet. We realized that our choices make and have an impact on the ecological and social ecosystem. Our products are deeply considered and thoughtfully made. We registered Art in Eden as a public benefit corporation, committing to a triple bottom line accountability. We gave profit a higher purpose and made profit a shared value. We said no to business as usual. We challenged the status quo. We said conscience must come back to commerce. We flipped our org chart upside down with leadership at the bottom and an empowered team scaling great heights. I built Art in Eden to use the power of business to make a difference to children in our local and global communities. This commitment was put through the test way before I could start the business. It was March 2016, about 10 months before the business launched. I was sitting in an audience and I heard Principal Sam Garrison of the Camden Street School in Newark, New Jersey, share about his challenges of the school. 627 kids, 90% below the poverty line, 40% special needs. Year after year, he watched his funding disappear, and he was cut 4 million in funding from the budget. I had not sold a single piece of clothing. I did not have my funding in place, but I could not sit in the audience and do nothing. And so I reached out to Principal Garrison and said, I would like to help. I don't know how right now, but I will be back with a plan. A month later, the editor that I had engaged with to work on content for my website shared with me that her heart-led work was to build programs that combined creative arts, democratic education, resilience learning, along with social change. Just like that, out of the blue, we had a program in place. Now, the Art in Eden team leads in a year-long curriculum, a mentorship program with the kids at Camden. Sometimes we teach, at other times we learn, we always grow. It is truly the highlight of our month. It didn't stop there. June 2016, I reached out to Hope Worldwide. I wanted to explore the opportunity of supporting a medical program once Art in Eden went live in 7 months, and I had my funding in place. My partners at Hope Worldwide shared with me with heavy hearts that the week prior to my call, they were just about to pull the plug on a nutrition optimization program that they were running in Central America. They did not have the funds to see the program through. The fact is, I didn't have my funds either. But their need was real, their need was immediate, and we had built Art in Eden to make this very difference. And so I decided to pay it forward. In a leap of faith, I committed that Art in Eden would take care of 1 million multivitamins and 7,000 doses of albendazole that they needed to keep the program going. I can tell you today with absolute certainty that that was perhaps one of my best decisions for Art in Eden. Our entire team has watched miracle after miracle unfold in our journey, in that we paid it forward. We launched Art in Eden on January 25th, 2017. Out the gate, we anchored the brand with Nordstroms. In about 6 months, we had 300 stores that had onboarded our journey. We have a global license for home and towels. We have pathways to build the brand in Canada, in Mexico, in China, and India. Our Clothes for Cure program has already been planted in El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Honduras, and also in Tijuana. As of this last weekend, Art in Eden was announced as the best new brand of 2017. It's very easy to look at our story and think that it was an overnight, instant success. But let me tell you, there was nothing instant and there was nothing overnight about the build-out of Art in Eden. It is a result of years of experience, deep soul searching for a greater meaning in the work that we do. It is the fruit of an incredible founding team, Mr. Om Batija and Mr. Rishi Modi, who have supported and mentored my journey thus far. It is the effort of a heart-led Art in Eden team and a desire that I wanted to leave a legacy, that I came and did something that mattered. Art in Eden is part life dream, part experiment, part social movement. I know we don't have all the answers. We don't even have all the questions. But what we do know is that we have not inherited this earth from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from tomorrow's children. Our choices matter. We've got to leave them a world they can thrive in. Students of FIT, as you get ready to embark on your own journeys and leave your footprints in the sands of time, remember that your destiny is a matter of choice. It's not a matter of chance. Don't let anybody tell you what you cannot be. You can become that what you think that you're capable of. You got to work really hard and really passionately. You got to dream big dreams. If your dream is not scaring you, it's probably not big enough for you. Make sure you do what you love. And don't stop till you find what you love to do. Make your journeys a story worth sharing. And as you go out into the world, make sure you do well. But more importantly, make sure you do good. Thank you.